Link engaged.
Visit us at TeamSpeak.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the TeamSpeak Team Liquid StarCraft Open. StarCraft 2 Open, rather. Of course, not playing on Brood War right now. Playing in this fantastic new game that is StarCraft 2. We're in Game 2 right now in the semifinals between TT1 as our blue Protoss in the top left position here, representing FnaticMSI, against his opponent, Zephyr, representing Prime.we in the top right position as our purple Zerg. Now, we're going to be on Tal'Darim Altar. This is a pretty fun map. Has been converted over to the latter edition. So we do have Destructible Rocks blocking the third, and that's actually going to make this a relatively Protoss-favored map. You can get off a Forge expansion very easily on this map, and it can be pretty difficult for Zergs to take a third.
Yeah, I agree with that analysis, Orb. But I'm curious: are the rules here loser picks? Because if Zephyr chose this map, it's got me scratching my head. The only thing that makes sense is that he might have some pre-prepared build, and we can already see a very early spawning pool.
Yeah, it is loser picks map rules right now. So as you said, it's pretty interesting. But yeah, I like that spawning pool choice, as you said, with that really early spawning pool. Now, what that does. A lot of Protoss players, the reason why they can get the advantage on this map is that they can actually go for that ridiculously quick Forge expansion. They can almost always get away with Nexus first, but when you go for that very early pool, and I like to use the double extractor trick too to get up to 12 food there. When you go for that very early pool, it absolutely forces not only a Forge first, but always you're going to have to put up at least a cannon, if not a full wall off, before you'll actually be able to drop down that Nexus. So it's a nice play to kind of force the game into Zephyr's hand.
Yeah, I agree. Really impressed with Zephyr's opening. He went with the double extractor trick 12 pool is what I was trying to say there. But unfortunately for him, TT1 first scouted. So I feel like TT1 should be able to prepare for this. He's already got the cannon starting before Nexus. So these early lings, they're going to try to run past, but TT1's just going to make a nice tight wall, and they're not going to be able to. So I feel like the StarCraft gods are smiling on our foreigner hero right now.
I gotta agree with that to some extent. The fact that he scouted out first is very beneficial for him. But that being said, I don't think killing off or really running by is necessarily the goal in this position for Zephyr. I think he's just trying to make sure that TT1 plays this honest, since so many Protosses will just go Nexus first every time on this map. It just forces him to delay that expansion by quite a bit, and as we saw, Zephyr, after those first 6 lings, didn't even make another Zergling at all. He just went straight into drone production, so he's just trying to transition out of this, and I think play it relatively standard, and just really make sure that TT1 wasn't able to be too greedy there.
Yeah, but I don't like that choice from Zephyr though. I mean, maybe if he doesn't get first scouted, he's able to sneak some stuff in there and do some damage. But as it is, there's no chance. Oh, look at this, timing the Overlord so that the cannon's going to target. Oh no, never mind. That was just a mistake. So TT1 sees the lings, drops the gateway just in time to keep him blocked out. So really, really well done here. TT1's he's in a commanding lead. His Nexus is going to be done before Zephyr even starts his natural. So I mean, look at this. Zephyr starting his lair. He's going to do some kind of silly one base all in.
Yeah. If he had gone and just started his expansion as soon as he possibly could have, he would have only been behind by a small margin, I feel. But, as long as he just kept droning ridiculously quickly, as you can see, he's already starting to catch up in the Harvester camp. But going for this really quick lair makes me think that he's probably just rushing up to Nidus here. He does have his Overlord getting into a nice position to be able to actually drop a Nidus where, Fnatic, or it's TT1, excuse me, will not be able to scout it out. Do you think there's any kind of other option that he has going for this quick lair?
The quick lair builds that are out there for Zerg are like fast Burrowed Infestors, fast Muta, or Nidus, like you said. There's also the Nesty Spinecrawler rush, but as we can see, it's already far too late for anything like that to happen. So I don't see Burrowed Infestor doing anything because obviously there's a wall at the front. So I'm thinking Nidus as well, and there is the Nidus started. So that's a great call. The question here is, will TT1 realize what's happening? TT1 hasn't been able to scout. These lings have given super map control to Zephyr, and TT1 has no inkling of a clue as to what's happening. He probably thinks his opponent has expanded. Obviously, that's not true. So we can see Zephyr positioning this Overlord into the back of the main for TT1.
Yeah.
This is going to work, man. TT1's going to be caught.
I think it will. This is why many Protosses, when they go Forge Expand, will always leave a probe patrolling any areas that they don't have vision of if they don't have the money to start putting down pylons. They'll just leave a probe patrolling to be able to watch for that. Oh my god, there comes the Nidus. The Stalker was so close, but it decided to turn away. Oh my god, if that Stalker had gone in the back of the base, he would have seen it. But as it is, he's not going to see it coming up. It's about to finish. I feel like Zephyr will be able to get the win with this. There are just no units out for TT1. All he has is one Stalker. There's the awful sound of the Nidus from hatching out. It's so terrifying to hear. Immediately, TT1 drops down a cannon. I don't think he'll be able to get it up in time, though. There's only probes and one Stalker to defend.
He's going to lose his main. He might be able to... No, the cannons aren't even in position for him to defend his natural. I feel like you're right. I think Zephyr's just going to win the game right here. Even bringing the Queen along, start poking away at that main Nexus. Lings are just basically running rampant through the natural mineral line. TT1's got to be kicking himself right now. He had to know that Zephyr had to do something crazy in order to have a chance at winning this game, and that's exactly what happened. TT1 didn't catch it, and Zephyr, man, I hate what he did. I don't like his build. It's all in, and it's cheesy, and it should not work. I'm hurting for TT1 because he was supposed to win that. He got the fast expansion against the early pool. He took 0 damage. That was his game.
That's kind of just a situation where it's like, if you don't, you just kind of exploit, a mistake by your opponent. Something like a cannon rush. It's something that it's not going to work versus the best of opponents. But if your opponent does kind of make that mistake, forgets to watch for those areas, I mean, as you said, he should have known something was up. First off, when the game started, the fact that a Zerg player would have picked Tal'Darim should immediately give him a tip off that there's probably some kind of crazy strategy in mind for him.
Yeah, you don't play. I mean, you
don't play standard.
You can play macro games on Tal'Darim Ultra, but that's to the benefit of Protoss. Protoss wants that, So if Zerg is going to make that choice, you're right. He's got something in mind, and I have a hard time believing that Zephyr's plan was early pool into Nidus all in, but it was obviously early. I'm going to punish his fast expand with an early pool, and then see what happens. Golly, man, TT1, you had to know that was happening.
Yeah, I mean, in that situation, it's like I said, you just pretty much there's just you have to have a probe on patrol. That's what all the good players do. I remember I was complaining about Niduses with Forge expansions back in like beta. I was like, oh, you can't do Forge expand because they'll just Nidus you, lol. And then my friend Response from LG was like, no, you just put a probe on patrol. It's like super easy mode. I was like, oh, hey, what do you know? Like,
probes kill the Nidus work. You know what?
So
it's really brutal irony. A friend of mine just sent me a message and said, LOL, Idra just beat TT1 2-0 with Nidus all-ins twice in a row in a recent online tournament. So come on, TT1. You gotta stop losing to that
that's
stuff.
A fool me once moment where, once it happens once, you should always know in the future to have that single probe patrolling those areas. It's so unfortunate. But you got to hand it to Zephyr. He took a risk. That kind of a build is extremely risky. And while it might seem like, oh, he's just a cheesy newbie or something, and that kind of a risk is really hard kind of a thing to do. And you really have to know what your opponent's thinking at all times. So if you're going to take that type of a risk and actually be able to make it work, often that type of build can just auto lose. So got to hand it to him for, being willing to take that type of risk to get himself back into the series. And now that it's going to be tied up at 1-1.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going to move on into game number 3. But first, we got to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.